When you're adapting a text that is as well known as Romeo and Juliet, it's not bad to go back to first principles. Most of the audience, because of their age, will not have seen this play before, definitely. They might not have seen any play before, which is interesting in a different way. But they may well not know the story, or certainly not know the detail of the story. And actually, what happens when you think about things in that way is that you realise that we can all forget the details of these stories, and there are riches there which you can become slightly immune to.
Young audiences were very much at the forefront of my mind when I agreed to do the show. I really wanted to make a play for that age group, the age group 8 to 12, 8 to 13. I was excited at the idea of this potentially being one of their first experiences of theatre, and particularly their first experience of Shakespeare. And I'd never directed a Shakespeare myself, so it interested me to be doing that for the first time for an audience that may be experiencing it for the first time. So I was coming at it thinking, what do I find most interesting about this story? And really that, I guess, was the guiding principle for how we then adapted it.
So I've worked with Bijan before, and we're both associate directors here at the National, so we know each other quite well. And we talked a lot about this audience. We talked a lot about the kind of energy that we wanted, the sort of youth that we wanted, the kind of the way that we wanted different theatrical languages like music and movement to work with the language and support the language, so that these young people coming to see this could really get an authentic experience of the Shakespearean language, but in a way which made sense to them.
I think one of the things that surprised me was how accessible Shakespeare's language is. When we first began, we didn't really know how much of the text we were going to be able to use. But when we found the right context or the right actor to deliver that to the children, it's amazing how much of it is really understandable.
The great challenge is for the design of this project is coming up with something which can play in a huge variety of different spaces. So there's school halls that the show has toured into are of very different sizes and very different technical configurations, and then the shed has its own challenges and opportunities as well. So the design was always going to have to be something that sort of popped up in those school halls or in the shed and brought the audience to it.
I think by setting it in the round, we created an important central position on the stage. I also wanted the children to be aware that they are, watching something together, so they can always see each other across the space. I also like the way in which the audience frames the space. I'm not that interested in theatre that ignores the fact that there's an audience present. I think it's much more interesting to, that's where it's different to film, because you can properly interact with the actors, and I wanted that to happen. I think it's fun.
These audiences are seeing maybe a play for the first time, and I think what you want to show them about theatre is that it's possible for the imagination to do things which are much more extraordinary than reality.